How can you learn how to put the right people in the right task and learn how to keep them motivated? Logically, this title is stating the obvious. Of course, you know that when you have the right people in the right task, they will perform better and your organization will run better. But let me show you a precise way you can achieve this and can avoid disappointment. I'm Roger Bailey. My academic background is a BS in anthropology from Fordham in '72, an MS in counseling from University of Bridgeport in '77. My work history is with IBM from '66 to '80 in the field and in their factories, and I have been a consultant since then. In the late '70s, I developed a way for managers to recognize what a person can and cannot do, as well as how to precisely motivate and influence that person. I named this methodology the lab profile, the language and behavior profile. This tool is a 10 to 15 minute stealth interview in which people being interviewed reveal information their managers need to know about how their brain works, what they can do and cannot do, and how to motivate and influence them. The person being interviewed doesn't know they are revealing all of this kind of information. It feels to them like they are simply having a conversation about their work history. The patterns being revealed in this interview are the person's functional architecture, how they operate, and how they are motivated. These patterns are our mental processing platform or our performance architecture. These patterns are how our brain performs our mental and physical tasks. These patterns are also how we are motivated and influenced. For instance, if I operate away from, my brain is constantly gathering information about what is going wrong or could go wrong. If I operate toward, I focus more on goals and rewards and other benefits. Both toward and away from have a valid purpose on the job. Some of us specialize in one of these and others specialize in the other. And a few of us can easily shift back and forth between the two ways of gathering and processing information about our world. Toward folks work in moving things forward, and away from folks work in identifying and fixing problems. In this presentation, I'll be talking about patterns and categories. I use patterns as the name of the individual ways of thinking and acting, such as toward and away from. And I use category as the name of sets of patterns, so that toward and away from are the patterns for the category of motivation direction. The lab profile helps you find which patterns each particular person operates with. And every person has at least one pattern in each of the lab profile's 17 categories, so that toward and away from are possible patterns for the category of motivation direction. Everybody is goal-oriented or avoidance-oriented, except that a few people operate with both. How lab profile works for you. When you use the lab profile interview with your top performing employees at a specific task in your organization, you find that for many of the lab profile's categories, all of the top performers will have the same patterns. These results show you which patterns are necessary for top performance at that task in your organization. Over my last few years at IBM, and for the following decades, I have presented my lab profile developments at linguistic and business and leadership conferences throughout the Americas and Europe. After leaving IBM, I've continued teaching managers and executives these thinking and performance patterns and the questions which elicit a person's patterns. Over the years, I've expanded the number of patterns I'm working with to 54 and expanded the number of categories I'm working with to 17. My lab profile training program helps managers learn how to know what each person can and cannot do so they can easily put the right person in the right task and motivate and influence them for top performance. More about these motivation patterns. Each lab pattern is organized around what a person has the brain circuitry to perform. For each pattern that we identify in the lab profile, there's a set of words and phrases which motivates the person who has that pattern. And there's an opposite set of words which hinders the motivation for the person who has that pattern. With these, managers can precisely motivate their people. In my online lab profile training program, I teach you the precise process and tactics so you can successfully apply the lab profile in your organization to choose the best for your staff, your suppliers, and your clients. You learn how to know which lab patterns are required for top performance for each of the tasks your people perform and exactly how to motivate and influence them. Click the link in the description of this video to find out about the lab profile training program I created for you so you can help your people be their best.